foot. Attention to your left hip bone, left thigh, left knee, left calf, left ankle, left foot, the entire left hip, leg, and foot. Attention to your lower back, middle back, upper back, just between the shoulder blades, base of the skull, the back of the head, both eyes simultaneously, just behind both eyes, the forehead, just behind the forehead, the upper lip, lower lip, both nostrils. And as you bring your entire attention to both nostrils, taking a deep breath into your belly, into your side body, into your lower back, into your chest. Holding at the top for a moment. And releasing, fully exhaling so fully that your belly might become a little concave, like you're pushing all of that stale air out of the bottom of your lungs. And holding for just a moment. Taking another deep breath in and out. In and out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Well, that was lovely. I'm not sure if you could tell, but my phone storage unexpectedly filled up and I had to restart the recording. So hopefully that will flow all right. Okay, so you may be hopping in from a timestamp right now, or you may have joined us for the meditation. Either way, I'm happy to have you here. I am going to read a brief excerpt from Eastern Body, Western Mind by Anadea Judith. Very lovely source of inspiration. And I'm going to use this root chakra tuning fork a little bit while I'm reading here. All forms of child abuse are, in fact, travesties of love. They are travesties because they are not a complete absence of love, but an absence of healthy love. How many children have been spanked and abused, sexually molested, sorry, YouTubes, punished severely, smothered, or overmanaged while being told, "This is because I love you so much." Travesties of love occur when the most needed element of life is twisted and torn, withheld, and used as a means of control. Without knowing what healthy love looks like, we have a hard time creating it in our lives. We hang on to mere shreds of love, sacrifice ourselves on its altar, run in fear when we find it. Instead, we are turning towards the opposite of love. Warfare and violence, television violence models behavior for our children, and gangs provide many of our youth with their only sense of belonging. Adolescents in my practice tell me cruel is cool, and to be a man, you have to be mean. On a single day in America, 270,000 children carry guns to school, and guns are now surpassing automobiles as the #1 killer. Is this not a travesty of love? Political agendas cut funds for the downtrodden and the needy, the immigrants and the children, while the defense budget soars. It is alarming enough that our political leaders embody this value system. More alarming still to contemplate the number of people who support them. What kind of cultural mythos is driving such values? Myths are the cultural stories of our origins and our purpose. Unconsciously, these stories influence and may even rule our lives. They define what is possible, shape who we are, and lead us to what can be. Myths are a statement of the primal relationships that exist between archetypal elements in the universe and their counterparts in our own psyches. In the prevailing mythos, we are children of divorce. The Great Mother, a fundamental archetype of the psyche, was worshipped as a living deity for at least 25,000 years during the Paleolithic and Neolithic periods of human history. She is archetypal ancestress to us all, her memory buried deeply in the collective unconscious. She mirrors our early childhood experience of our own mothers and embodies the archetypal imprint of the mothering source, nurturance, nourishment, containment, and connection. In the collective mind of Western civilization, she has long been forgotten, removed from our predominant mythology. She is conspicuous in her absence. She is only beginning to resurface through the growing goddess movement, recent archaeological research, and the popularity of Jungian archetypal psychology. She is the mother we have lost and are only just beginning to find again. She is the archetypal feminine at the primal origin of our cultural history, all of our cultural history. In her absence, the Great Father has become the sole protagonist in our dominant mythology. He is strong and powerful, but distant and ethereal. He is without a wife or daughter and is estranged from all that the feminine archetype represents. His immediate son has been crucified, ostensibly for the sins of the children. In the divorce settlement, we are the motherless children who were taken to live with the father. In our new household, mother was not to be discussed and became forgotten. We have inherited the myth of a broken home. We are the motherless children in our distant father's house, trying to find wholeness in a world that is longing for the magic and mystery of love. This is our story. These are our parents. We are the children of an unacknowledged marriage. This can be dense, as can be dark. It took me such a long time to get into opening up the space for this heart chakra reading because, well, for personal reasons, but I think it reflects things going on with a lot of people as I sense and see. The heart, when it is disconnected, when it is out of balance, as we just read about across the planet in almost every culture, we struggle with this heart energy, with this union energy. If we didn't, the world would look very different right now, and that's kind of what we're being called to right now. It's very interesting to be in the energy of summer solstice and the height of the light when we're simultaneously in the Kali Yuga, in the depths of the darkness. So what comes up must come down, but what comes down also must come up, and people don't think about that part of it as often. Ascension and descension are not better or worse than one another. They're integral to our design. We need both of them. And so wherever you are, whether you're at cliff top, as Will Smith likes to call it, or you are at rock bottom, right now is a time to correct course, to balance the scales, to bring that balanced energy into our lives, to bring that alternate energy into our lives. And with this heart chakra energy, we can feel the emptiness and the loneliness, or we can feel the intensity and the height of love and the fear or the experience of losing that. And those are both challenging places to be in. And everybody, from what I can tell, is in one of those places right now. So coming into yourself, coming into a place of balance and stillness is more important than ever for you individually, and I believe collectively your individual path and your individual journey and your individual work is your co-creation with the collective. That is your work here. You can do other things too, but that is your primary job, is creating that balance in yourself. When I tapped into this heart chakra energy, I was feeling a lot of information coming in about, well, visions really. So there's the crabs in a bucket vision, and most people are familiar with. And that is very interesting considering we just came into Cancer season, the crab. And crabs have all kinds of awesome qualities to them, but when you take them out of their natural environment and you shove them into a bucket, they're all trying to get back to where they belong. And in the process, they will climb over each other, knock each other down, and you see this dynamic in human nature as well when we are placed into environments that are not natural to us, that our soul, our body, our physiology, our evolutionary reality, our DNA, we are not built for this. We do not have the history and the adaptation and the design to hold the experiences that we're having right now. And so a lot of people are just so busy and so distracted and in such survival mode that they just knock each other over, and then all of the crabs stay in the bucket because they're all pulling each other back down, and it's a perpetual cycle. None of them are ever going to get what they're looking for. It's just this instinctual survival thing, but we're in an unnatural container. So there's really nothing we can do. So if we can stop and we can see that, we can acknowledge that, we can stop trying to survive, if we can surrender, if we can stop trying to compete and just get through things, if we just let our reality be what it is right now, that is forgiveness. That is stopping the wheel. That is neutralizing this negative karma. And we all can and eventually will do this. But I honor and appreciate the first waves, the early oncomers, the people who are willing to lead in that way when it is challenging, because it's just always challenging to do things other people aren't. I also got this vision very strong several months ago. I couldn't shake it and I never shared it because it hurt, it was weird, it was heavy. But it's also really true, and I think it speaks to a lot of people in the collective right now. And so I was in the ocean, and it was dark, and it was stormy, and there was a buoy. And I was with some other people swimming. We were swimming, and the storm came, and we were having fun. We were doing our thing. And when the storm came, we knew we needed to get up out of the water so that we didn't get pulled under the current and drown. So we found this buoy, and as I climbed up the structure, expecting these people to climb up the structure on the other side, or, I felt them clawing at my ankles, grabbing onto my legs, clawing up my back, holding my shoulders, pulling me down into the water, not as if they were exactly intending to push me into the water, but as if they needed to leverage me to try and survive, and they fell into that survival mode so intensely that they were just kind of vicious about it. And they scratched and they clawed, and I was bleeding and I was drowning, and they were stepping on my head and my shoulders. They were stepping on my hands. And even as they were climbing up my body, I was still trying to help them up. And then when they got to the top of the buoy, they turn around and they reach out their hand and they want to save me. They want to be my rescuer. They want the pride and the honor and the attention and the recognition and the appreciation from me, that they helped to pull me out of these waters that they forced me into, while I'm covered in bruises and I'm bleeding and I'm missing clumps of hair. And they look at me proud and expectant with this smile on their face. And I don't think it ever went too much further than that, because it was just such a it was striking. Not like surprising. It was striking because it was a acknowledgement of something that had been experienced so many times for so long, but never acknowledged, never seen truly, never felt fully. It was like this thing that was always there, but it was just supposed to be there without being acknowledged. Kind of like the person I was in this vision. You're supposed to be there without acknowledgement, which, you know, that can be connected to the concept, the energy of unconditional love, and that's good, that's great, that's wonderful. Sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need this temporary imbalance. But finding that equilibrium and figuring out where that's appropriate and where you have to cut it off, because it's actually not just a long arc to come back into balance, but it just keeps going and going and going and going, and it'll go forever if you let it. So tuning into our intuition is so important to figure out those lines, because it's all a spectrum, and there's a side that's too far and there's a side that's just right, and there is no hard line that tells you when enough's enough. You have to feel it out for yourself in your life, in your situations. It's different for everybody. Okay. So, thank you, Freya. Thank you, Folly. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mary, for being here with us now. Hear us now, heal us now, help us now, hold us now. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you for the collective here today. I am going to start off with the herbal tarot here. And we're just gonna see how far I take this. Because this has been a loopy one. If you're still hanging out, thank you very much. Happy to have you here. So normally I would pull like a recent past, a present, and a future card, but I kind of just want to see what comes out here and go with it. The Emperor? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna bring this up to the camera just so you can see the artwork on it. Yeah. Okay, so in this deck, the Emperor is, oh man, how do you say that? Atractylodes. So this is an herb you probably haven't heard of before, because I haven't, and I've been learning about herbs since I was a wee little child. But yeah, the Emperor is all about green, it's all about sanctuary, it's all about four walls in some decks. No, that's the sun. Yeah. So in